Hello everyone, you're listening to Affiliate Journey and I'm your host Miodrag Milenkovic. Alright, please help me in welcoming Mr. Jordan Ali, although he does look pretty young if you're watching this, on
Hey, we talked
YouTube.
about this before, Mio Drag. We talked about this before. I'm not that much younger than you, all right?
Damn it, you look so young, man. I mean, for the listeners, you can't
Thank
see, but if you're watching on YouTube, you can tell. Well,
you.
Jordan, please be so kind as to introduce yourself to the people that don't know you and tell us, like, why did you decide to work online and why did you decide to tackle entrepreneurship and all that jam?
Cool. Well, first and foremost, before I tell about my story, I just want to say thank you, Mio Drag, for having me on your podcast. Um, be upfront, this is my very first podcast, so I plan on giving as much value as possible. I'm gonna try to do the best I can and help you out with your podcast. I know that you started your podcast sometime in, I think, like July. Was it last July-ish?
Yeah, it was like
And that was
July.
kind of like the same time I started like my own, I guess, my own YouTube channel and stuff like that. So I saw that you were really consistent with your podcast. Um, till up to now, which is something that's really hard to do because that's something I'm trying to do myself, is just stay consistent and creating content and creating some type of value where people can come and learn something. But my name is Jordan Lee. I'm here in California, Orange County. I've been able to build a six-figure digital marketing agency off on my from my bedroom. This is where my bedroom is. That's my story. The reason why I tackled entrepreneurship was it was something I've always been interested in. Like I went to college and all that, and I was taking these classes, but I don't know, for some reason, I just kept on gravitating towards entrepreneurship. I didn't even know what entrepreneurship was, but I was reading all these articles about, articles that Business Insider was putting out because I was following these pages, um, and these pages and things like that. So I always was interested in that. I just didn't know how to get started. And so after college, I had graduated. I was still a little lost. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do exactly. I didn't really want to chase uh, my degree. My parents wanted me to become a doctor. Every Asian parent's household wants you to become a doctor of some sort. And I was going down that route and I graduated from college. I didn't want to pursue the doctor route anymore. And so I started working at a job eventually, and then I was just like, dude, I don't like this isn't for me. I don't like working. I don't like having to clock in and clock out at a specific time. I don't like having supervisors look over my shoulder. I don't like being told what to do. So that's when I was like, all right, enough is enough. I'm just gonna, start my own business, and I'm gonna do whatever I can to not have to work a job. I'm gonna do everything on my own terms, and that's how I really got started into entrepreneurship.
That is nice story. And first, I didn't forget, no problem. And it's an honor having you here, man. And as far as your journey, it's pretty awesome, man. I think all of us entrepreneurs, let's call us that, let's label us. We do have that itch, like even when we were younger, that dissatisfaction with either a job or at school, wherever we are, and it compel us to the entrepreneurship. But given the time that we are in, it's in this case online entrepreneurship. So tell us, how has your journey been? Like, I've heard your story a bit, and I know that you have like massive success in only 12 months, and to make it even more amazing, only from your bedroom. That's pretty amazing.
No. I mean, my 12-month journey, I mean, when I quit my job and I went into this full time, I really didn't know what I was doing. I had zero credibility, zero experience. But I had such a big fear for going back to working at a job that, I was just like, hey, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to make this work. So every single day, I was learning, I was applying, and then I was optimizing. So what I did was I was trying to learn as much as possible in whatever I was trying to do. So as far as like lead generation, all right, how do I generate new clients? How do I generate results for them? How could I, make things smoother, get better results and things like that. So every single day I was learning something new, and then I was applying it, and then I would take whatever that was, and I was like, all right, I would figure out, all right, how can I make that better? And during that 12-month journey, that was all I did every single day. My birthday was in the month of March. I remember one month, and I remember just like for 2.5 weeks straight, including that week of my birthday, I was just sitting right here in my bedroom. I didn't leave my house, and all I did was just soak in as much knowledge as possible, and then go and use that knowledge, and then seeing how I can make that better. Like I ate, I was eating, and I would learn at the same time. So I did nothing but just learn. I dedicated 110% of my day just learning, and that's how I think I was able to get massive success starting from ground zero, zero experience, within 12 months. I think that's something that I'm, I'm pretty proud of. I would say I didn't think it was going to happen that soon, but just when you put in the work, a massive amount of work, you're going to move the needle a lot faster.
Yeah, I really love that story. And what makes it interesting is that you didn't get into the consumer mode loop like I was when I decided to get on my online journey. I was also like consuming, buying courses, but I didn't have that very important piece that you have mentioned, like that implementation part. So
Yeah.
I was like learning for a year and a half without taking, okay, I did take, but like small pieces of action. And it wasn't until, like you mentioned, this July that I only like started slowly with consistent first publishing, then YouTube,
Yeah.
and one thing next to another. So, and I know a lot of people like myself have trouble with over consuming but not implementing. Like, what made you start to implement right away as soon as you have learned something, and what made you consistent? And okay, I'll dive into the next question later.
Yeah. No, just uh, first for first of all, I totally agree with you. I think a lot of people purchase courses. They're looking for mentors. They're looking for some type of piece of information that's going to, I don't know, propel them into success. But not a lot of people take action, and I think that's one of the main things. Like how I got started with digital marketing agency, um is crazy. What was that? My best friend's little brother, he had purchased the Ty Lopez social media marketing course, right, for $1,000 or something like that. And one day my best friend, he was like, hey, my little brother just bought the Ty Lopez course, you want to take it with us? And I was like, oh hell yeah, it's free. So like I saw it as an opportunity, and at the time I didn't have that much money to be spending $1,000 on courses and stuff like that. So I saw that as an opportunity to learn something. And as soon as I learned, I went through the entire course, and that motivated me to just get started into my digital marketing agency. And out of us three, I'm the only one that got started, and I didn't even buy the course you know so um now your what was your other question? Your question was the
Uh,
not doing the course, and then what was the second part of your question?
Let me remember what I have asked you. So yeah, the first part was what made you implement, and second one was what made you continuously put in the effort. Did you saw some results right away, so that like kept moving you forward, or what is it something else that made you like persevere?
I mean, just the hunger to, like I said before, I hated working at a job. Like that was one of my biggest fears, was having to go back to working at a job. And just the hunger to achieve some type of freedom. Like my goal was, I mean, the financial freedom. That was like one of the goals, to be financially free, and be able to provide for myself and my family and the people around me. But I think the two other freedom that was one of my biggest goal was my time freedom and my location freedom. I wanted to be able to work from anywhere, and I wanted to be able to work on my own time, because when I started digital marketing agency, like I do this 24/7. Like there's no 9 to 5. I can work on this as much as I want. And when you love what you do, you can put as much time as you can into it. And that's why I enjoy the time freedom part. Is I put so much time into this business to grow it, and I enjoy every step of it. And not only that, but I also get to enjoy the location freedom. I mean, I get to work from my bedroom. I could work from anywhere in the world, but I choose right here in my room because it's so convenient. Um, and that really, that really motivated me to continue working, because there were months of, when I first started my journey, there were months of doing this, and I saw zero results. Like, I didn't see results right away. So just the goal of, hey man, I gotta make this work first. I have a big fear of not wanting to go back to work, and then the second thing, like, hey, you know the location, the time freedom, it's going to be worth it in the end. So I just kept on going. I just kept on going, chipping away, and eventually saw a little bit of results, and that kept me going.
And tell me, how did you decide on the thing that you want to double in on? Like, another thing that makes you kind of different is that a lot of people, when starting out, they get bombarded with, like, do you want to do blogging? Do you want to do YouTube? Are you gonna run agency? Are you gonna start a podcast, maybe
Yeah,
Facebook
exactly.
organic pay? Like, how did you decide I'm gonna do this and you became better in that, and you didn't jump onto the next thing and next thing?
Before I started my digital marketing agency, I was that new, entrepreneur. I was that guy that was chasing the next shiny object. I tried everything because that's how badly I wanted to become financially free, or, achieve some type of success. I did, real estate. I tried to do real estate, flipping houses. I tried, man, I tried drop shipping. I tried Amazon FBA. Like, I've tried all these other things prior to starting my digital marketing agency, and either one, I didn't really enjoy what I was doing, and I didn't stick with it, and I gave up. Or number two, um, I think just not seeing any results, not not really enjoying what I was doing, it made me not want to stick with it. So finally, when I saw digital marketing, and the potential that comes along with it, it you know that's I think that's the reason why I stuck with it. As far as, like, why did I choose digital marketing, I don't know. Like I said, I was just like trying everything, and then it just happened that when I did run into digital marketing, it was something I did enjoy doing. I enjoyed, helping businesses grow, get more clients, get more revenue, building the business. That's something I've always enjoyed, is helping other people build something. And now I'm in a position where I'm passing back my knowledge, my mistakes, and my struggles, and my journey to other people to help them grow their own business, pretty much, and do what I do.
Yeah, I love that. So you said, like, you had to learn, for example, lead generation, and it's, as they say, like, lifeblood of the business. So what are some of the top lessons that you have learned and implemented in your and the other people's business that you really know that works well and consistently?
Could you ask your question again?
Oh yeah, like, what are, like, some top lessons that you have learned by generating leads for your business and for other people businesses?
I think it just comes down to, with marketing, it just comes down to a lot of testing. A lot of people ask me, like, hey, what's the best way to generate leads? What's the best way to get new clients? What's the best way to scale your business? And the answer to that, there's no clear, there's no cookie cutter answer to that. There's no one way. Everybody's business is different. Everybody's approach is different, and you gotta just find what works for you. So when I started this you know this agency, I was looking to build systems, because I knew that if I could build a winning system, it's going to be able to replicate the same result. So in order to build, a winning system, you need to find winning formulas. And in order to find winning formulas, you need to just test as many things as possible. So when I was started doing this, like I said, I had zero experience. I didn't know what I was doing. I just threw everything at the wall, and then see what sticks. Just tried everything, and then double down on what works, and then do it again. Throw everything at the wall, see what works, double down on that. And that's how, I was able to figure out what works, what doesn't, and then just keep introducing new things, so that way you can keep making your systems better, and then just keep doubling down. And that's what I did. throughout the entire 12 months.
Is there like a common pattern that you have seen, like you are throwing things at a wall and this one succeeds, next this one, and is there something like a common pattern among all of them, what you know that will more likely succeed next time?
You know, you just like with me coming from someone that didn't know anything when I was doing it, you know, I don't know if there is a common pattern. I don't know that. I just know that, you know, one day I'll wake up and, you know, I'll have an idea come into my head and then I'm going to write it down. And then I go and I just test it. And then if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't, you know. But I'm constantly thinking of new things to test and see if it works and then double down on that.
All right, and tell me, like, how do you get leads for your business? Are you going like organic route? Are you doing ads? What, or are you doing mix of both? Like,
Yeah. So there's so many ways to generate leads. You know, I don't think there's a best way or a good way. You know, there's cold calling, there's cold emailing, there's going to networking events, there's connecting on LinkedIn, and I do all of the above. You know, I do all of the above. I have a sales team and things like that. I have systems put in place to implement all that. Um, and I wouldn't say that one method is better than the other. I would just say, you know, how can you make it better? That's what it comes down to, you know, because someone could be a great phone closer, you know, doing cold calls and closing deals over the phone, but someone else might be a lot better at going to networking events and, you know, networking with people and closing deals there. So when people ask me, you know, what is the best way to prospect, you know, you don't know. It's just whatever works for you, and that's where it comes down to figuring yourself out, figuring your business, figuring out what works best for you, and then you double down on that. And then how can you make that better? And same with all the other systems that you're running. How can you make that better? You know, so I'm constantly I'm constantly trying to figure out, all right, how can I make my methods better? How can I make my formulas better? You know, how can I get better results for my clients? How can I get better results for my own business? And um, it's a constant curiosity of trying to find answers, and that's the fun. And I think that I find that so fun is figuring out how can I make something better for myself or for my clients, and that's what I do pretty much.
yeah, I love that, and I love that curiosity piece. I think it's really important because at one point, if we say, "Yeah, I know it," and we stop like growing, stop being curious, and that's probably where when our business suffer.
Yeah.
So tell me, what compelled you to start a YouTube channel? Why did you choose that method?
So I started my YouTube channel because you know, I wanted to document my journey pretty much, and I wanted to take everything that I've learned and pass it back to, you know, the next group of people who are either starting out in their marketing agency or you know, people who maybe are already in a marketing agency but they're stuck. Because when I started, you know, there's so many YouTubers out there where they, you know, regurgitate information of they'll here's an information and they'll just, you know, create a video on it. But I really just wanted to document my journey, and just pass back, like I said, pass back my mistakes, my knowledge, and just help the next group of people succeed in their own marketing agency.
Yeah, I love that. And what strategies, like if you're documenting your journey, are you like blogging or do you have like videos with tips and strategies and actions, or like how
Yeah.
do you structure that?
So, you know, when I first started my YouTube channel, I didn't really have, you know, a clear, like, all right, hey, I'm going to make all these type of videos. I just wanted to make videos that I thought, if when I first started out my journey, if it would help me. So that's how I started my YouTube channel. And then from there, as people started watching my YouTube videos a lot more, they started requesting, you know, hey Jordan, can you make a video on, you know, so and so, and then I'll go ahead, I'll create those videos. So then it first started off as, all right, what would help, no, the young Jordan that first started out, And now, until now, it's like, all right, what do the people want? What do people need help with? And that's what I'm here for. I try to be kind of like that YouTube mentor in the digital marketing space. um, and yeah, that's what I've been doing as far as like YouTube and how I've been creating my content.
Yeah, that's really powerful when you get a chance to create a content that actually solves the problem that audience wants. And what are some of the common problems that you have seen, like repeating over and over again? What are some
I
bumps
think
on the road that people run into all of the time, like similar mistakes?
I think the two biggest issues as with digital marketers when they're first starting out is, number one, to how can I get a client, right? That's like one of the toughest things is, where can I get a client? How can I find a client? But I just tell them, like, you just gotta go out there and see what works best for you. All the prospecting methods. It's all given to you. It's not hidden anywhere. You can do a quick YouTube search, Google search. It's everywhere. You know what you need to do. It's just you implementing it and not giving up. That's how you can get your first client. Second thing is, the biggest issue is how to deliver results to your clients. What is the best way to deliver results so that way they can continue to stay on as a client, so that way your business, is growing and it's not tearing apart after a month. And I just tell them, you just you get better results as you get more experience. So, you just gotta keep you just gotta stick with the journey. That's what it really comes down to. Stick with the journey. You're going to fail. When I started off, I delivered terrible results as well. It's not a big deal, but as you go, you're gonna learn and learn and learn, and that's how you're gonna be able to deliver better results. So, I mean, what it comes down to, and what I've learned is that you just gotta stick with the journey. There's gonna be bumps, there's gonna be obstacles every step of the way, but it's up to you to figure out how to get around those obstacles, how to get through those obstacles. Not every single journey is going to be perfect. When I first started off in my journey, my first obstacle was, all right, how do I get clients? Right. When I got my first client, my next obstacle was, all right, how do I better deliver better results? Because I was delivering crappy results. And then after that, it was like, all right, how do I maintain this business? How can I keep everything consistent? How can I keep it growing, and make sure that I'm not working in my business because I wanted to work on my business? How can I grow this? And it's a constant, figuring it out, really.
I like that. And what are like some of the core skill set that you had to develop on your journey that made you like be able to pull that off on a consistent basis?
So the skills that I developed was, number one, all right, how do I get clients, right? That's like the first issue for everybody. How do I get clients? So I had to develop a skill on, all right, what works best. And that comes down to testing. I'm throwing everything at the wall, see what works, double down on what works, introduce new things and seeing what works. All right, I got a client, or I got good responses from this method. I'm gonna keep doing that method and get more responses to increase my chances of getting a new client. After that, I had to learn a new skill to deliver results to these clients. So um, I took a course on how to run Google Ads. I learned how to build funnels, landing pages, and things like that. And then I combined those two to deliver results. And then from there, I learned how to optimize that. All right, how do I get better results from my clients so that way they're profiting every single month and have the money to pay for my services? And then how do I better the systems on getting more clients so that way my business can continue to grow? And even to today, it's still, how can I make it better? How can I get better results? How can I get more clients? What can we do on a sales call that will close more leads? How do we get more leads? How can we get more results for our clients? How do we make sure our clients are happy? And it's constantly, figuring it out. And I think, like I said, it's that's the beauty of it. It's fun. That's what it is to me. It's fun, and I enjoy doing that.
Yeah, and tell me, like, let's go with the first thing. you mentioned everybody gets stuck on getting new clients. So say someone says, okay, I want to start my own agency or whatever business they are in, like they will need new leads. So what has consistently worked like the best for you? Is it like social media and maybe, I don't know, messenger, cold calls? Is it your
Yeah.
YouTube channel? Is it like paid ads? Like what has performed the best for you so far?
So the coolest thing about this my marketing agency is that I've gotten all of my clients from not from spending $0 on paid ads. So I've never done paid ads to get any of my clients. I know a lot of people, you do paid ads to get your clients, but that gets really expensive. And I didn't want to go down that route. So when people ask me, what is the best way to get your first client, if you're first starting out, I think you gotta ask the better question is where the better question would be, where is your ideal client hanging out, right? So, you know, because you already know all the methods, as far as like reaching out and getting in touch with your client. You can cold call, whatever. But the better question is, where are your clients hanging out? And that boils down to figuring out yourself first. Who is your ideal client? Who do you want to work with? Do you want to work with, uh, local mom and pop shops? Do you want to work with financial advisors? Do you want to work with doctors? Who do you want to help? Right? So that way you are more specific. And when you get more specific, you can focus in and zero in more. So when you figure out your niche, you figure out who your ideal clients are. Now you can ask, all right, where are they hanging out? And it was crazy because this quote stuck with me when I first started my business and I had nothing. I would go to the gym every single day and I would listen to motivational speeches to kind of like start off my day. And I heard this quote from Denzel Washington. He's a big actor, movie actor, and he said, if you hang out around the barbershop long enough, eventually you're going to get a haircut. And for some reason that stuck with me, and I started to ask myself, if I hung out around where my ideal clients are, eventually I'm going to get a client. And that's what I've been doing. And I think that's one of my best methods is figuring out where your clients are hanging out, be there, and then I try to attract those clients. So give out a whole bunch of value up front, establish some credibility, establish some type of expertise, authority, um, know what, pat, I guess sound like you know what you're talking about, and that way attract your first client. That's how I got started, and that's what I've been doing. Really, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's probably like if you miss out on the ideal client customer avatar, you will you will probably miss everything else, even if your like business model is super good and strategy and tactics all in place. Like if your targeting is wrong and your avatar is wrong, it's gonna go really bad. So
Yeah.
what would you advise to people who are new and still aren't like super clear on their avatar? Like how do they decide, and how did you decide on yours, and later how did you find them?
So your question is, how did I decide on
How
like
did
who
you
my
created your customer avatar, and later when you got clear on who they are, how did you find where they hang
right?
out?
So when I first started off in the digital marketing agency, I started off as everybody else. I didn't know who my ideal clients were. Um, so I was a little bit broad. And I started off working with like chiropractors, and I ran Facebook ads for chiropractors at one point, and it worked for a little bit, and then eventually it died out, and so that killed my morale. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, and it hurts me to knowing that people are wasting their money, and I wasn't able to bring the results that they were looking for. So that was when I was like, all right, I'm not gonna run Facebook ads anymore. Now I want to just manage social media for doctors, right? So that's what I started doing. for chiropractors. That's the time what I was focused on. Um, and it wasn't like something made me go work with chiropractors. I just knew like, hey, they're a doctor, so they probably have, a little bit of money to hire me for my services. So that's why I chose that. But before I even worked with chiropractors, I was like, when I was still trying to figure out what clients I wanted to work with, I was like, no, I'm gonna go work with pet grooming business because everybody loves seeing pets on, Facebook ads, Instagram ads. I thought it would be easy, to go work with my local pet grooming shop down the street or something. But as I was messaging these people, I didn't get any responses, and then I realized that these local pet grooming shops probably most likely don't have the money to pay for my services, pay for paid ads and things like that. So that's when I leveled up. That's when I was like, all right, I got to work with people who have money to spend on paid ads that can pay for my services and things like that. So that's how I started working with chiropractors. And when I was managing, chiropractors' social medias and stuff like that, eventually it got to a point where, hey, we're not seeing any results, so that's when they let me go. And so I had to figure out a way, all right, how can I work with someone that has enough money to, pay for the paid ads, pay for my services, and at the same time, being able, how can I provide some type of service where they're going to be able to profit every single month so that they can continue to work with me. And so that's how I came to learning Google Ads. Google Ads is a fantastic way to generate leads for businesses. If you go on Google and you search, for any type of services, you're going to see ads pop up because if me or someone else is looking for a service, a product, or anything, we're most likely going to Google and searching for that. So by capturing those those hot leads, I'm able to generate hot leads for businesses. So that's where learning Google Ads came in, and that's how it really got started, really. And from there, I just that was my my as far as what type of clients I need to work with, is it's the answer is affluent clients. Affluent clients are people who have money to spend on paid ads and pay for these type of services.
Yeah, I love that. It makes sense. A lot of people like get either too broad in their targeting, or they
Yeah,
just pick people who don't have money. Like if you're gonna teach a 16-year-old how to start a business, it's likely that they can't afford it.
exactly.
So yeah. Tell me, one of the skills you mentioned you had to learn and get better at is funnel building. So what are some of the core skills? Because I know that a lot of people listening are funnel builders. So what are some of the core tactics, tips, and strategies that you have used and found to work very well?
I mean, as far as like funnel building and seeing what works, it really it varies for every single person's business. Someone who is a local business funnel might be different from someone who is, selling a product or e-com, who's doing e-com. So it really comes down to testing, split testing, and seeing what works. But the number one thing I found that has worked best for myself um, is is uh, is funnel hacking, which is learning from people who are in the same industry as you and having massive success. You want to look at what's working, right? So that way you don't have to reinvent the wheel. So what I do as far as like funnel building, and for all the funnel builders out there, you want to model your funnels, your landing pages, things like that with people, with the masters, right? The people who are creating massive results, getting massive success with their own funnels and and landing pages. So that would be my number one advice, is to just find someone that is in the same industry as you, that has created massive results, massive success in in whatever industry that you're in, and then model uh, your own funnels to theirs. That's how you're gonna get success.
Yeah, I love that. I can tell that you're in ClickFunnels group, funnel hacker for life.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So tell me, how do you find those successful funnels? Like, do you search in Facebook ads, or like do you just Google, or how do you find people to model?
Man, I just search. When you're just everywhere, you just looking. They're somewhere. They're out there, right? If you Google it, you YouTube it. They're on Facebook. You can ask for recommendations. Who is the best? For example, if your client is a chiropractor, for example, and you want to figure out how can I build the best landing page, a high converting landing page for a chiropractor, well, you should go and search for it. I've Googled everything, best landing page for chiropractor. I've asked in groups, who here has had massive results for chiropractors. Um, and, you're going to get answers. And from there, you just look at all the different landing pages. You take out the best pieces on each landing page that you like the best. And, now you see, five successful landing pages, and you take a piece of each one, take the best pieces of each landing page, and then you implement that in your own landing page, and you'll have a high converting landing page, pretty much.
All right. I love that. Okay. Maybe a couple of more questions, one or two. Tell me, you mentioned that you learned a lot of stuff at the beginning and you were implementing. One of the things that you have mentioned was Ty Lopez course. And what are some other piece of resources you that you were learning from? Like, was it YouTube videos, courses? What are the people that you have learned from, and what really stuck with you? Like, after whose lessons did you really like feel like you got it and really got some big results?
Yeah, so I feel like a lot of courses that I've watched, I've seen, I've taken, I feel like there's always one piece of information that is missing for like enough for you to get started and feel comfortable and being successful. I always felt that way for some reason. But when I first started the Ty Lopez course, like after the course, I was motivated. I had a little bit more knowledge about digital marketing and stuff like that, but I just wasn't, you know, ready to go. Like I just didn't feel like I was an expert. I didn't feel like I was ready to be successful. Nonetheless, I did get started anyways, and it did motivate me to start on my journey. Um, but I think the best courses is when you want to learn something very specific. So, for example, I wanted to learn more about Google Ads. So what I had to do was take a course specifically on mastering Google Ads. So now that I've developed a skill set, right? And then, as far as how to get more clients, I took a course on specifically, on all the different ways, all the different methods. What is the best way to get more clients? So there's a lot of broad courses out there. I feel like, um, but as far as finding good courses, it really comes down to you know finding the right mentor. And in order to find the right mentor, you got to be following them for a while. You got to see that um, they've created massive success results for them, not only for themselves but for the students that are inside the course. um, and from there, you make your own judgment on whether that course is for you or not. I think a lot of people jump into courses not really knowing what they're going to learn exactly. You want to know who you're learning from, because that's your mentor. You want to make sure that your mentor is someone that you know that's where you want to be. That's how I look at it. Like, hey, is my mentor where I want to be at? And if the answer is yes, yeah, you can go ahead and take that course. But if not, then you gotta look for the course that best fits you.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. All right, before I ask the last question, tell me, if you were to go back at the start of your journey, what is the one thing that you would do more of, and one thing that you would do less of now that you have more experience and you've been been
Man, I mean, yeah, when I first started, I was so lost because I didn't even I didn't have a direction. I knew where I wanted to go, but I was just so lost. And I think when you first start out, you want to find a mentor as soon as possible. You want to find someone where, like, hey, I want to be that guy. You know, I want to be where he's at. Exactly what he's doing, that's what I want to be doing. And I want to be right there, right? So when you find your mentor, when you do find that person, um, you know, that way that person is going to be able to guide you in the right direction because you already have the destination, you already know where you want to go. You just need guidance. And when I first started out, I didn't really have a mentor like that. um, and I was going in all types of directions. I was throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks. But when you're able to find a mentor, you're able to cut the learning curve. You don't have to throw everything at the wall because everything that already sticks is already given to you. And I think that's what I would do if I was first started out is finding someone where I could say, hey, I want to be that guy. I want to do exactly what he's doing, and I want to be where he's at. That's what I would do.
I love that answer. All right, Jordan, tell the listeners where they can find you and connect with you online.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Mildred, for having me on your podcast. Like I said, it's my first podcast. I hope that I was able to deliver a lot of value to your podcast. That's the most important thing here. But if anyone that wants to find me, I do have a YouTube channel. All you gotta do is search up Jordan Lee Marketing. So it's JORDANLE Marketing. And I'm trying to grow my YouTube channel. That's what I'm focused on right now, and just giving back as much value as much as possible.
All right, you heard the man. And as always, links will be in the show notes at affiliatejourney.co/Jordan, or just go and type it in the YouTube channel. Jordan, it's a pleasure having you on, man. And you did give a lot of value. I enjoyed
Thank you so
our
much.
conversation, man. All
Thank you
right.
so much. Yeah, I appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming. All right, everyone. As always, thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe on the podcast and on the YouTube if you are watching. And until next week, goodbye.
Peace.
Peace out.